welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissite. Thank you so very much for joining us. We appreciate it. You know, it's one of those things where we always like to get more information wherever we can. We're so very glad to have joining us meteorologist Lauren Nash. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. Now listen, it's summertime, and we don't always know what to expect in the summertime, but we see some different and changing weather patterns here in the summertime. Can we just talk about some of the general things that we see here in summertime weather?
Sure. You know, summer is a little bit unique in the South in that typically in the fall and the winter and the spring, we hear a lot about cold fronts. So we have these big lines of thunderstorms and these severe storms that they sweep pretty fast. Or in the fall, we have tropical systems. But in the summer, we don't have those fronts. So just because it's hot and it's humid down here, we just automatically get a lot of thunderstorms during the afternoon. And unfortunately, those thunderstorms do not move very much and are also extremely hard to predict. So here in the South, we just have that real difficult time forecasting these exact positions of these storms. And with all of our outdoor recreation around here, it can be very dangerous at times.
Yeah, and so I know one of those things as somebody who enjoys fishing and enjoys boating, being out on the water, it's something that we really just need to be careful of and plan for, because radar can't tell you when one of these storms are just going to pop up. So it's really good to pay attention to meteorologists who are saying, we have the possibility of these isolated thunderstorms. And so, these isolated storms can just kind of pop up kind of at any time, kind of anywhere.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I got a phone call the other day about this where they had gone out onto the lake and they had looked at the radar and they looked clear. And then all of a sudden there was a storm. And this person asked me why that happened, and it wasn't on the radar. And that's because a lot of these storms aren't moving from the west or the east or a certain direction. They'll literally form right above you. So you'll see a lot of times in our forecast in the summer, it's usually 50 to 70% chance, because that's about all we can give you. And if you're planning on going out, take a look at how high those percentages are. Obviously, the lower the better, but that doesn't mean, even if we only have a 30%, that you're not going to get impacted. So watch the sky, watch your radar, and know where to go if a storm pops up.
Yeah, and just having that backup plan. It's one of the things that we talk about all the time as it relates to hurricane season. You want to make sure you have a plan. You want to know if a hurricane's coming, that you're prepared. You need to be prepared for outdoor activities during the summer where there may be some serious storms. And some of these storms have some significant lightning and thunder, and they can really cause some damage in a hurry.
I personally am terrified of lightning. I always have been. And I always feel it's one of the most underrated meteorological hazards there is, because people are very used to thunderstorms and they don't know very many people that have been struck by lightning. But it can happen. And if you're the tallest object out there, then there's a chance that you can get struck by lightning. So it can happen 10, 15, 20 miles away from a storm as well. So if you're doing any outdoor activities, you have to make sure you have an indoor or safe place to go if the storm pops up.
Yeah, we always want to make sure that we're staying safe with that. Now, for me, I really love getting out and sweating when I'm exercising, but I'm not a big fan of sweating in a suit. And so this hot weather and this heat is something that's been a little bit uncharacteristic, but it's lasting quite a bit. And as some of the forecasters are saying, we're going to see some triple-digit heat here for some time. Can we talk a little bit about why that is and what really impacts that?
Well, yes, I have some good news and bad news. The good news is we've really been near normal in terms of the heat for the last month or so. I think the humidity is really what we're feeling, because it just has felt more humid than it has recently. And I think that's because of all the rain we're getting. But we are going to, this weekend, it's going to be pretty hot. We have a heat advisory actually in effect for most of the South Shore for tomorrow. And that is going to see heat index values over 105 for those areas. So this weekend's going to be hot. Stay hydrated. Don't go out in the middle of the day. Find shade wherever you can.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that we protect ourselves, our pets, and our plants. We think about that when it's cold. We need to think about that with the heat as well. And 105 degrees is really hot. In fact, we down here, a little bit farther south, have felt that already. The heat index was over 105 here this week, and so it's been really interesting with the weather that we've been experiencing, and that. Now, do other areas, sometimes we have some 12 to 15 to 18 different degree changes from what the temperature is to what the real feel is. And so is there something that really impacts that down here, or is that something that's pretty general in other places as well?
It's definitely the humidity. That's what contributes to those large gaps. So sometimes, like in Arizona, you'll see it's 105 and feels like 104 because there's really no humidity. So here we may only have temperatures of 90 degrees, but with that extra humidity, we can get much hotter. And to make it even worse, with these summertime thunderstorms, my house could be 75 after a rain shower and the office could be 105 because they haven't gotten rained on. Or they got rained on and have all this extra moisture around. So then when they heat up in the afternoon, their heat index also gets significantly hotter. So not only do we see that gap in temperature versus heat index, but different cities, different towns very close to each other can have some pretty big differences as well.
Yeah, well, we certainly appreciate all of the education about how to understand how to deal with that, some of the safety measures and some of the things that go in with that. So, Lauren, we appreciate your time. Thank you for helping to explain those things to us and how we're going to get better at dealing with them. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. And again, that's meteorologist Lauren Nash, and she's been very helpful and kind in filling in to let us know what to expect with hurricanes, how they do things a little bit differently, and helping us a little bit better understand what is happening with some of these rain challenges and some of this heat. And so we can watch our local forecasters, but she's one of those that are always kind of following and knowing what to do and what we can expect. And so we appreciate her very much. As a meteorologist, again, that's Lauren Nash. And we thank you for watching us here for Bayou Time. We're going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. More local programming when we return.